Hey, social media lands, this is yours truly, Real Talk Gwen Samuel. And I've been trying to figure out as a parent advocate, how can we get more touchdowns for children? And to do so, that means we have to look at how policy is made that impacts our children. Over the last several months, I've been talking to experts on both sides of the aisle, trying to figure out how do bad actors that are public employees stay employed? I don't know about you in the private sector, but if you do something wrong on your job, you will not only get any benefits, you would be fired. Now, I get it. Our Constitution, we have due process. So do union contracts. They have due process too. But yet, I still see many bad actors in our public schools, some in our law enforcement. And for the record, we do have more great law enforcement and more great teachers than not. But with that being said, the taxpayers of Connecticut cannot afford to pay for bad actors who don't protect the public interest. So with that being said, how does a bad actor stay employed? First, I thought it was our legislature, the people we vote into office every November or we primary. So I said, okay, then maybe it's the governor. Then I found out that the state of Connecticut has signed its governing power away and have given it to the unions. For instance, let's just say you're an officer like the one in Minneapolis who became the judge, the jury, and the executioner for George Floyd. No due process there. So they say he was fired. Then come to find out he had 18 excessive force complaints against him prior to what happened to George Floyd. So how can someone stay in office or stay employed after 18? Then we find out that it's the protections of the contracts, their union contracts. So how does it work, Gwen? And again, I'm just a layman, not an attorney, not an expert, but I do know what accountability looks like. So let's just say it's 18 complaints and the leadership of the police department, or it could be an educator and the administration wants to fire them. So the public servant says, you know what? I like my job that doesn't have any accountability, so I'm going to file a grievance. So they file a grievance, and then I found out that they meet with an arbitrator. I guess there's two panels of arbitration. The more I learn about it, the more I'll share with you. So this arbitrator, despite the facts, despite the abuse of public trust, can say, you know what, we're going to have him reinstated. You cannot fire him. And then next thing you know, these bad actors are back in play, which makes all of our great educators, all of our great police officers, all of our great other public servants look bad, because all the public will see is that the government that is supposed to have limited power, one of those powers is to protect us, has allowed bad actors to continue to receive benefits from the public via our taxes. And at some point as taxpayers, we must say enough is enough. I'll give you another example. A few years ago, there was a report by the Office of Child Advocates, from the Office of Child Advocates, and they were talking about sexual abuse that's going unreported in our schools and a lot of other things that no child should have to deal with and no parent should have to be worried about. But yet here we are. So without a transparent system, without holding public servants accountable, we will continue to fund bad actors. So let's make room for the great actors, our great public servants, by making sure that bad actors cannot stay employed with the state of Connecticut at our expense. I can't tell you what to do in the private sector, but with our public dollars, we should demand accountability and transparency. So join me every Wednesday for the Woke Wednesday series as we, as everyday taxpayers and voters, work together to figure out how to unpack how the government works so that we can make informed citizens, so we can be informed citizens, so that when we go to the voting polls, we are making informed decisions about who should be representing us at the state level. Join me next Wednesday and have a great one. Goodbye.